And welcome to the GodIsAGeek.com podcast. My name is Adam Cook, and this is episode 553. And this episode, I am joined by Chris Hyde. Hello, Chris.
Hey, you all right, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Chris White, how are you, mate? All right?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And Lyle Pendle, how are you, Lyle?
I'm good, yeah, hooray. We all got our own introductions this week. How lovely.
A bit more professional this week.
Yeah.
I want it on record that I genuinely like saying "here's everyone" and then just like I think it's fantastic. And it makes for such awful audio when people listen that's my only kick in life. That is now.
That's quite sad, really.
That's quite sad. Plus, I also know that you do not get a kick out of awful audio. You're the one person in this group that would hate it secretly.
But podcast me thinks it's funny.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The podcast
Editing
version
you.
of me. Yeah, you're right. No, actually, that is just a lie, and I'm sorry. I want to officially apologise for that lie. We have got a strange collection of games to talk about this week because it's kind of in the middle of the onslaught of everything. And so we thought we'd talk about one that we missed while we were away, one that's just come out, and one that I don't actually remember if we ever talked about it in the podcast, but it's one that we think needs a bit more love and is a good time to do it. But let's kick it off with probably the biggest of the three, and Chris White's here.
Star Wars Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws.
Is it any good?
Yes.
The best segue it has ever been on this podcast, and it was just you singing the name of the game.
Yeah, well, I like to surprise the audience. Star Wars Outlaws. It is quite good actually.
Yeah.
It's not
box quote.
It's quite good actually. Sorry,
good,
but,
actually.
That's I put that in the review. That's what they asked for. Expect it on the posters soon. No, it's Mick. One of the things that we talked about in our group was Mick was going on about how the same Star Wars is in the same time. Star Wars in the same time period, like the same 30 years, and he's completely right. We talked about it last week, I think, as well. But for what it is, like introducing this character, Kay Vess, she is great protagonist, really likable. She's not a Jedi. There's not a single lightsaber in it. I was trying to think, and I don't think I saw a single lightsaber in it.
Is it fair to say she's one of the highlights? I'm not saying that I don't like the game, but I think I haven't played as much as you. I played like the 4 hours for preview, and I've played about 6 or 7 of the final thing. From the preview to the final game, she's like one of the big highlights for me. Like character-wise, like she's great.
Yeah, she is. She's got good character development. She's not cocky. Like the thing with, and this is going to sound reductive, and I don't mean it to, but she's like a female Han Solo in the fact that, like in the original Star Wars trilogy, for me, he's the one that instantly cling to. Like he's the most interested, the funniest, the most likable, the coolest. He's all of the above. So is she. She's really likable. She's really funny. She's got a good moral code despite being like a scoundrel and a rogue or whatever. And so, like the character building throughout the game is really good for most of the characters, especially her and her relationship with her little pet called Nix, who's adorable.
It's got to be said that Star Wars as a whole, it seems like no matter what developer gets hold of the license, they end up making a kind of. I'm thinking of like Cal Kestis' little mate.
It's always.
Do you know what I mean?
There's always a sidekick little thing, isn't there? Always.
The professional term is Lil Buddy.
Yeah. And no one's getting it wrong. Like it's really weird. Like it not that they should, but it always seems to be there, doesn't it?
Yeah. But with Star Wars, they also do something, and they've always done it since the films. Is the female characters are always like really strong-willed, strong characters. They're not there to be saved. And even in like Star Wars, when they go and save Leia, she ends up being the one that's like pushes things forward. But so character. Character-wise,
I was going to watch
great.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, guys.
Oh God, imagine. No,
the actual what?
Someone
No.
People are so funny about spoilers, like because what someone considers a spoiler, the other person might. Let's just not.
Do you know what?
No, don't say it.
But feel free
I'm
to
gonna
get in
say
the
it.
comments and discuss your views on spoilers.
Darth Vader,
Yeah, I knew this was coming.
R.I.P. By the way, James Earl Jones,
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
is Luke Skywalker's father. There you go.
Fuck. He's
So
ruined it.
So yeah, ruined it.
Thanks for making
technically
editing
it's
work for me,
Anakin
Chris. I really
Skywalker.
appreciate that.
Anyway.
It's just got to be a beep over that.
Yeah.
Cheers for the extra work. That's really appreciated.
And then we'll be thinking, what swear word does he use? And all he said is father.
And they just mentioned James L. Jones. Like, what on earth could he be saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
He's only just
No, I
died.
won't.
Yeah.
You know, I was joking about the edit, but now I might do it just to
Yeah,
make
do it.
Yeah, cheers, mate. But then you got to edit all this bit about
Yeah,
saying how
no,
you're going to
you're
make me
right,
look
yeah.
bad, and you're just
Shit.
making more work for
It's
yourself.
worth it, though, isn't it?
hoist on my own. Yeah, go on.
So Star Wars Outlaws. So yeah, story's great. Gameplay wise, the one thing that kind of holds it back a little is there's a hell of a lot of stealth, and I know we talked about that in the preview.
But they've patched it apparently.
But even though there is quite a bit of stealth, and you do have to sneak around, it's not like you can't. There are certain levels where you literally you have to kind of go in guns blazing, or else you'll be there for hours. Now some people will prefer to take their time. Some people just want to go in. Some people want to do a bit of both. So you have got a bit of freedom to do whatever you want. And like every single whether you're on like a space station or you're on a Star Cruiser or a base on ground, you have got multiple entry points. You've got different ways to kind of take on every part of the game. You're very free. There's a lot of freedom in it, and you've got loads of different ways to hack doors and use nicks to open vents and all sorts. So in terms of the gameplay, it's really fun. Shooting, there are a lot of people criticising the fact that you pick up a gun, it's got a certain amount of ammo, then you have to discard it. Or if you go through, like climb up a ladder, you have to drop the gun, and that kind of thing. But you've always got your pistol, you've always got your blaster, and that can be upgraded constantly throughout. And
don't you think that because you feel free to disagree. One of the things I think this game really gets right, and I'm not genuinely probably. Both Chris's here are bigger Star Wars fans than I am. I like the films. That's about as far as I go. Like I wouldn't not watch something if someone said watch this animation or watch this. I watched some of the guy who's in The Last of Us, that TV show he's in. Spoiler, the Star Wars
Mandalorian.
one. Yes, thank you. I watched the first two seasons of that, and it was really
Pedro
enjoyable.
Pascal. Yes.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal. That's right. The thing I honestly, and I felt this at preview, and I felt it just even more when I played the review build, I really do think they nail the Star Wars feel. Like, they really nail it. If you suddenly could just like keep every gun you found, and if they didn't go, well, now you've got, I feel like that would, because they're already struggling against stuff like the stealth, which is a little bit wonky immersion-wise, isn't it? Like you can sort of do that Ubisoft creep up to someone on the side and they're like just go because you've been down there the whole time. They can't hear you or see. They're basically their horse blinkers.
Yeah.
But so you've already got to sort of contend with that. I think that a lot of that stuff, like where you can't just have an arsenal of weapons, helps the game. I think
also, the stealth is actually really good. The AI awareness is a lot smarter than what you played in the preview. Like you find they become aware a lot quicker, which is one of the things that I wrote in the review, which is frustrating, is that they've been quite a distance away, and you're crawling behind boxes. The moment you pop a finger out, they're after you. So that
that's why it's best to keep it.
I heard myself in my head.
Pop a finger out. Thank you for that, Chris.
No worries.
What I would say is I am genuinely. I almost want to load it up and see when they do this fixing. Because what do you do? What does? And also, I'm sure I wasn't the only person at preview saying the stealth sections aren't the best part of the game. It's sort of, so did they genuinely not react to it till later? And what are they going to do? I
don't know how they can't be a part of, how they can fix it, because
it's not the stealth mechanics that bothered me. It's the fact that in this immersive game, you suddenly got this big text that's alerted, and then suddenly you're just auto-booted back to the start of an area, and it's like, okay, You know, that's what bothered me. It was because he'd done so well immersing me with everything else that then to suddenly be like, oh, I've spot it. It feels like that element of it feels like an older game to me, because it feels like in a really modern video game, what happens in those things is, well, you messed up the stealth, so you've got to shoot your way out.
Well, this is what I was going to ask, right? Because when you started describing it earlier, Chris, about like, you know, sometimes you've got to go in all guns blazing or whatever, I was like, okay, it's the whole Assassin's Creed thing where you probably start a fortress or something, try to go stealthily, and then
you're right.
You're right.
It
goes wrong, and you go, like, fuck it.
The bigger like Empire compounds.
Yes.
In your head, you're like, I'm gonna fucking nail this stealth.
Yep.
They're not even gonna know I was here.
I'm gonna go in, go out the back door without anyone noticing.
Yeah.
And then you go in, and then some fucker sees you. You see that alert, and then they're all like, "Oh god, there's someone here."
Yeah.
And then you're like trying to shoot your way out. But there are ways to kind of be really quietly. You have to be patient, but they're also, it's not the hardest thing to get out of a base. It's all part of the excitement of taking them on. But like in terms of like the worlds, they're very unique in kind of Star Wars lore as well, because one of the worlds, Akiva, isn't in any of the films or any of the shows or anything. It's in a series of books that came out called The Aftermath, Aftermath. That was where it first appeared, and they've taken that and gone, right, let's bring it, like, let's make it real. And then there's another world, I can't remember what it's called, but that's from Rise of the Skywalker, which was one of the, well, not whatever. I'm not getting into that now.
Let's not do that now. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, there's a lot of, they don't rely on the whole world of Star Wars. Like there are.
Not going to Hoth. Is that what you're saying?
No. But there are cameos, a couple small ones, but you can't not, because they're making a massive impact at that time. It's after the Death Star's blown up. You know, the world's in disarray.
What happens?
I'm not even going to fucking bother.
Just to finish the stealth part, I do want to just say, I think the reason it annoyed me so much is what I want. So the broad spectrum of this game is that it's built around reputation system. It's 3, isn't it? There's 3 warring criminal underworld gangs. 3? I'm sure it's 3 or 4. I can't remember, but whichever it is, there's the Hutts, there's the Crimson Dawn, there's another one I'm forgetting.
The
Pikes, I think. That's
and then there's 4. There's one else.
Okay, but either way, they're all sort of warring, and the idea is if you do a job for one, you can actually, like, the early mission example would be you can frame one of the other gangs, and it's kind of cool. You don't have to, but you can. That's up to you, and your reputation with each gang goes up and down. So I think what bothered me was that, like, so you're sneaking around, say, you're in with the Crimson Dawn, and they've sent you to a mission to go and nick something from the Pikes gang yard, I don't know, and you go in there and you get spotted by the Pikes, and then it's like, you shouldn't be here, and you're kicked back out. You're like literally booted back to the sort of entry point of their territory. Whereas I feel like what they should have done is made it so, like, no, sorry, tough shit, they've spotted you, so you can either leg it and hope for the best, or you kill them all and your reputation with them goes down. And again, there are some parts of the game where that does happen. Like there was a random base on the open world part where I went in, and I think it was again the Pikes, and I was trying to stealthily do it, and I messed it up, as I always do, as everyone always does, and my reputation went down because I was killing Pikes and they knew who I was. And so it's like, it's just really I feel like there's 2 games here. There's the open world, which I really, really dig, and there's the sort of curated story missions, which do feel much more linear. And that's why they're like, you didn't do it as intended, checkpoint. Whereas in the open world, I didn't, again, I haven't played as much as you, but I didn't see any of that stuff. It's only in the curated missions. So it almost feels like there's game A and game B here. And I really, really dig the open world part, because I just like that kind of Ubisoft. You either like or you don't. Like that Ubisoft checkbox, you know, I do, others don't. That's absolutely fine. I like the idea of getting around a map and exploring and stuff, and I like that stuff. Rooting around boxes, do you know what I mean? Like in Mass Effect or whatever. It's just, I've always liked it.
We'll come to that in a later game.
Yeah. But when you go to, like, I really like the missions as well. Like Chris, you can speak to some perhaps later game stuff, but like the first time you do go to like an Empire, what would it be? It's a ship, isn't it? It's a big ship, and you have to and everyone's talking like, this is a suicide mission. Like
Yeah,
you
the
cannot be
Star
stealing
Destroyer.
from them,
Yeah.
the destroyer, and it feels amazing and scary, and not in a horror game scary, in a way of there are just stormtroopers everywhere, and I'm just one person with a gun, and a little Nyx guy that I can send off to do some bits and bobs.
Yeah.
And it feels amazing. And then that moment where they're like, put your hands up. And you even get skills later on in the game where you can like fake them out. Like you put your hands up, but that obviously is not going to work in the more cutscene stuff where it's like, no, you've been spotted. That's a fail state. I just think it's really strange. But like, I do think the game's good. I do think it's a victim of, because it feels like it's come and gone. And it feels like a victim of, why did you really... Maybe they just assumed it's Star Wars, Sodja, we'll put it out when we want it, but they really feels like they put it out at a... I don't know that there's a worse date.
Well, I said, like last week I said that I don't think it will become a
Sequel.
series.
Franchise.
Yeah, because I don't think... It's fun to play and it's good in its moment, but once you step out of it, I haven't gone back to it. You know, I finished it. The ending as well was fine. Like it didn't like I was expecting a bit more, but whatever. But like I could go back and mop everything up.
Oh God, yeah.
But I don't have any inclination to do that because other open world games make you want to go back more. So it's not like the fact you can. It's anti Ubisoft in certain ways in the way it does things. Like there's very limited markers on the map, which is great. Everything's organized a lot better. Traveling, like getting around. Like in Assassin's Creed, running from here to there, if you don't have fast travel, it's a pain in the arse. Especially like Ragnarok when the map is huge, but you've got your speeder. You can just summon your speeder straight away, appears, get on it, and it's so fast. So it's and also one other thing before we move on, I just want to mention the skill tree is really good as well because
there isn't it?
There isn't a skill tree.
No, it's different.
You've got different, I forgot what they call them, not operators, but basically different people who provide certain abilities dependent on what it is. So like stealth abilities or weapon abilities or like speeder, like whatever. Playing Sabak, like the famous card game. All these different people you'll interact with, and now they'll give you like challenges to do. So one of the challenges is jump over 60 meters with your speeder without falling off at the end and landing flat, which is great. And then you unlock a skill. It's not like level up, XP 1 point used on a skill tree, level up, skill tree. It does so many very different challenges, like use Nyx to distract 10 enemies, sneak up on 10 enemies, all these different things.
Melee attacks
does a lot of things differently, which is nice and refreshing compared to a lot of like big open world games. So has a lot of going for it, and it will be good when it's reduced in price. A lot of people will go back to it, I think. But I you know, it doesn't do enough. And yes, it's Star Wars. Well, that doesn't, mean it's going to be good, or because Jedi Survivor as an open world was 10 times better. It was a lot kind of. I mean, for me, I know you had trouble with it, but like presentation, it ran so well for me. It was just the perfect kind of Star Wars game in like open world Star Wars game.
The only issue I had with their open world for those games is I think like the map from the first one was dreadful, and the second one was like an improvement, but it wasn't an improvement enough. It was almost like, no, just change it. Don't stick to this because it's like no, we're being that was the actual. I really enjoyed doing stuff in that world. I just really didn't like the map and didn't like the second map much better. But the game's good.
Yeah, let's not get into 3D maps because I'll start rioting.
Yeah. They're very, very different games. I will say that if people do get confused and go in thinking I want to play the new Star Wars game and it's like the one that Respawn developed, they really are not similar in any way, shape, or form. Apart from that, they're both third person and sort of open worldish. Like
she's not some warrior either.
No, she really isn't.
She's not great at combat because not everyone is in these situations. She's just someone trying to make some money, gets involved in some big like business. She's just some normal person, like, and that's what makes it good because Star Wars, everyone's extraordinary.
Yeah,
they're a Jedi, they're Force sensitive, they're a Sith, they're whatever. She's just trying to get by.
Yeah, there's no hints of like, but she might. No, it's like no, she's not. She's just
someone.
She's just a character we've designed, and
Star Wars can do that well. Like Andor was the best Star Wars show I've seen, and that was all about just some random guy, well, not random guy, but just one
Mandalorian.
person.
Mandalorian is not a Jedi. Do you know what I mean? That's not about I know there's lore, but like the character itself is just kind of a good sort of soldier guy with a jetpack, isn't it? Really, I mean, not to reduce it down, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Should have named it that. Really, good soldier guy with a jetpack.
What a title! Yeah, go read the review. There was a video review on the same channel if you're watching on YouTube. Go and see what score Chris gave it. Have a play. Let us know what you thought of it. Like, are you still playing it? I am genuinely intrigued because it does seem like for a game that is a Star Wars game, which is an event, it seems to just have come and gone. Like, really, really strangely. Don't know. Mr. Pendle.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Talk to us about...
Mr. Pendle.
Yeah, no, okay. I regret that. Sounds like a teacher. Talk to us about a game with a fantastic title called...
It's a Lyle title if ever I've heard one.
Well, I will also say that... So it's called Grapple Dogs Cosmic Canines. I didn't even realise it was a sequel.
It is a sequel, to Grapple Dog. Singular.
Is it literally like Alien?
It is. It's Alien and Aliens. We're coming in on the Aliens part of the Grapple Dog saga. But yeah,
Grapple Dog saga. Amazing.
Well.
Definitely. Well, so yeah, I think we missed the first game. It was like 2 years ago or something, and it was a little platform game where you played as a little dog and you grappled about and got collectibles and stuff. I've watched videos of it. I've not played it either. But here there's a sequel, and this time, instead of one dog, there's two dogs, and
which therefore grapple dogs.
Exactly.
Thematically, I'm a big fan of this.
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah. So
Cosmic
there's the same
Canines,
hero.
Though.
What makes them cosmic?
Yeah. What's in space? It is space.
They go up to like different universes and space and
there
that.
We go.
Yep. Fully, they nailed the title. Perfectly descriptive. We've got it all.
I have to say, I don't know about you, Lyle, but as someone who didn't even know there was an original game before this sequel, the intro to this game is like, what's going on? And not in a way of like, oh no, I can't play this. I don't know enough about the lore. In a kind of, this is great. There's that dog's got a girlfriend, and he's just suddenly giving her a kiss, and now they're like on a boat, but there's a chicken, and the chicken's talking to is it a chicken? I'm not even sure if he's a chicken.
So do you need to have watched a previously on Grapple Dog
recap?
Kind of, yeah,
I think you'll probably you'll just about manage, I reckon.
Oh yeah, no, I'm watching it in a way of like going, I don't know what's going on, but I like what I'm seeing.
I'm here for it. There's a chicken.
Yeah.
I think don't quote me, Lyle. I'm not sure. Is it a chicken?
I don't remember there being a chicken, so I must have thought it was something else.
Okay, so I don't know. It's got a beak. I'm sure it's got a beak.
Well, I was going to. I was wondering if it was.
I feel like I need closure. I need one of you to find out what it was.
Yeah, we'll have to check this out.
If there's a video of this now on the pod and it's an elephant or something, I'm going to be like, for God's sake! I know you recorded this yesterday, and
an elephant with a beak.
I'm sure it's a chicken.
What was it in? I'll do some research. Well,
I could watch the video I captured of it, but I'm not sure it's a chicken. Doesn't matter. There is a dog. It kisses its girlfriend. It goes into some kind of wormhole, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And then you do a level, and then another dog with different mechanics comes along to save you, and you're in, right?
And then you're in, and then you go into different dimensions to help save the day and find magic crystals, because there's always magic crystals that you need to find in every video game any of us have ever played. And then, you have fun. But yeah, there's the main character, the first character from the first game that series fans, diehards of the series, if you will, will remember Pablo, and he...
Pablo's a great name.
What a name.
A great name for a dog. Having a dog and just being like, oh, come on, Pablo, here you come. Good boy. Like, perfect. Great name for a dog. But Pablo, he's the sort of more standard grapple dog in that you can run, jump, grapple about.
No, we know what you mean, yeah.
Grapple dog. He's wearing like full clothes. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Like a tuxedo or something? Or like grapple gear?
No, like a blue t-shirt and jeans in it.
Yeah. He's dressed.
Oh, he's casual. Smart casual.
Yeah, smart casual, yeah. He wants to make sure he's allowed in the club.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he's got the sort of the more normal controls where, you're just sort of a fairly normal platformer, but with a grappling hook. and sort of like a dash to break boxes and attack enemies and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Luna, the new character, who's a little bit edgy and got a bit of an attitude, she's
bit?
like, well, yeah, maybe quite a lot of an attitude, but she instead of like just being sort of like your standard, you've got a little attack that hits enemies, she's got like a gun, and it's like twin stick style of shooting. She's just like, she'll shoot the shit out of those.
Shoots first, ask questions
Yeah,
later.
definitely. That's entirely her style. And she's also got an air dash, which is incredibly helpful for getting around.
And you could use it diagonally, which is I've not seen that. I've seen an
Yeah, you
air
sort of
dash side to
curve
side,
it.
up and down, but you can curve this air dash diagonally.
Is this instead of a grapple?
No,
the grapple's still there. You can grapple
So she's
and
got
air
insane
dash.
range
she's
and a ranged
he's
weapon.
melee, basically.
Yeah.
He's got melee attacks, but can't shoot things with distance, so she could shoot
Yeah.
things. I like playing as Luna, if I'm honest.
I was gonna say, why would you ever play as Pablo? Like, she's
He can do
much better.
he can do like the arse smash to jump higher, right? She can't do that.
Yeah,
can she?
you can do an arse smash. It gets you a bit of extra air because you bounce quite hard when you land on your arse. He's a bit simpler to play, which in some ways is quite pleasant. Whereas with Luna, like sort of twin sticking and doing precision platforming, like a little bit harder. But I mean, the main reason you would play as different ones is that each level you play as one of them. Like, it's selected. It's not you pick who you play as. This is a Pablo level, then you're doing a Luna level, then you're doing a Pablo level. So there's no selecting involved. It's this level was designed for this character.
Right.
And then, in terms of the gameplay,
I was actually going to ask you that. So you can't go back later as the opposite characters. It is like this is designed for Luna.
Yeah.
Okay, I've only played a little bit, so I wasn't sure if you could go back.
But yeah, like it's not the most complex game in the world, but how it works is it's really lovely. It controls really, really well. The grappling mechanic, like grappling mechanics in pretty much every game, is like banging. It's like it's the good shit. And there's like a lot of collectibles to find, and they're like really well hidden collectibles. Just that right level where you're like, I've had to engage my brain, look a little bit for secret walls, or think, well, maybe it could be down there, but like it's not like, oh, I'll need to look at a guide. I'll never find all of these. Like a couple of times I replayed a level an extra time to find one of them. So like that's my ideal level of collectible difficulty. Maybe one replay of the level and I'll probably find them. Same as Astrobot. They both hit that mark for me. And I mean, it's just a lovely game. There's a lot of variety as well. Like there's the first world, there's like a power up that you get that means you can sort of ride electric current. So you sort of whiz around solar panels. That's quite fun. And then the world after that, you get a nature grapple that if you hit it into a wall, it grows a vine up the wall and you can climb up the vine. It's got lots of lovely little ideas. It's very creative, very colourful, and just like a lot of fun. It's a really there's not like lots to say about it because it's not a complex game, but everything it does it really well. It's varied enough, and
it's one of those where you sort of might watch a trailer of it and you go, that looks cool, and what we can add to that is, like you said, it plays great. Like you. Sometimes I almost get I've said this before, I'm sure on the pod, but with games that look that way and sort of propose we're a platformer, so you know this is what you like, Mr. Cook. It's that moment when you first take control and you're like, please be responsive, quick and snappy. Please don't make the jump all really oddly floaty or something like that. And it just straight away is like instantly like the grapple feels right, the shooting feels right if you're Luna. Yeah, I mean, and you can tell that because some of the bonus levels, like the first bonus level you can unlock where it's like timed, like, get gold, silver, or bronze, how quickly you smash all these boxes or shoot these targets. And you can only really put those in those sort of games if they are responsive and snappy. And like, so that was like seeing that early doors was like, okay, we're going to have a good time, you and me. I don't know if I'll have time to like, rinse it to within an inch of its life, but it was one of those that sort of as soon as Lyle was talking about it, I was like, I've got to play this, I think, because it's my kind of thing, It's
What do you play it on? What do you play it on, Lyle? Switch?
On Steam.
It's on everything, so Steam, I think,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No, it's like, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not like Astrobot level of mind blowing, is it? Like,
No, it's not.
Nothing's
but it
going to
was-
feel like that though now. is
Yeah,
it?
it was a really, for me, it was a really nice thing to play after Astrobot, because this was like the next game I was like jumping into after Astrobot, and like I needed something that was still quite joyous, still quite fun, my sort of game, and like it's it's not dissimilar either. And I mean, there's not fun gaming references throughout, but there's still fun collectibles to find. And you said about the like challenges as well, which are like time trial-y, and then every level alongside that as well, there's a time trial challenge if you go back into it, and they're all just like because it's such a like they're usually about 2 minutes long each level. If you like really rush it, you'll probably spend about 6 or 7 on your first playthrough because you're making sure you look for everything and checking for all your collectibles, but then you'll have like a couple of minutes time trial. And I wouldn't say I'm normally someone who's like hell bent on, I'll get every time trial on every level, but in this game it was really nice to get that exact route down and get your medal that you're aiming for. And like they always felt the right level of like, it's a fair challenge to get a gold, but with like 3 or 4 attempts I was usually able to do it. So it wasn't like you've got to be some speed running knobhead to get them. You can manage.
That's a fair comment.
Just before you change the timestamp again, I just want to quickly say I think it's a turkey.
Okay.
Oh, it would be a turkey.
Professor.
Oh yes, of course it's
Gobble.
a turkey. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I was close.
Yeah,
You were close.
It's a bird. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's a bird.
Has wings and everything.
Yeah, and a beak, right? Turkeys have beaks.
Sure
Yeah, they do.
I had to just check mentally. Like,
Can
they
confirm
do, right?
turkeys have beaks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just had to double check in my head there. Right, let's move on to the game that's older that we want to celebrate, Mr. Hyde. What is it? It is Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden.
Yeah.
Why do you ask him what it is and then say it anyway?
Yeah.
What is it, Mr. Hyde? It's Banishers.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Stole your
Well,
thunder.
sorry. Yeah.
Drum roll.
I don't know. I'm out of practice is the honest answer.
Yeah. So surprise! I've been playing Banishers, Ghost of New Eden, to give it.
Now, before we talk about the
game.
game,
Yeah, just fucking interrupt me. Yeah, shit off the introduction. Then just start. Yeah, go on then.
what made you go back to it?
I mean, I was going to get onto that if you just let me.
I am sorry I didn't
carry
read your
on.
mind.
Wait,
Please
I've got a
continue.
question too.
Yeah.
Chris, did you enjoy your time with Banishers? Yes, you did. Yeah, good.
Play the jingle. Right. Okay. So Banishers, Ghost of
It's
New
all
Eden.
getting noted down, by the way. It's all getting...
What's been noted down?
All of this.
Oh, quaking in my boots.
I mean, you could have just gone, of course it is. You're fucking recording it, but it's fine.
Yeah. This always
Banishers.
happens with my games because then I completely lose track of what I'm saying and I just look like an idiot.
And that's what you get for admitting before we start recording that you enjoy winding me up.
Right,
as a
okay,
hobby.
fair enough.
Go on, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. When did it come out? Because I actually...
February.
It is one of those where you'd go, what?
Yeah, it was like February. I remember because it was literally just after Yakuza, which was late January.
Yes, that makes sense.
So yeah, this was like early Feb, I think. And I played it either just before or when it came out. I forget when we were all playing it. It was you, me,
Just
and
before, I think.
Mick, wasn't it? I think. Did Mick review it?
Mick reviewed it.
I want to say Mick reviewed it, and I really liked it. It really resonated with me. And then something I can't remember what else came. Something else came out that we had to then cover.
It
and
could have
just
been
one of
10
those-
something else's, by the way.
Yeah, and something else came out, and I just had to pause it,
Yeah.
and I was like, it's one of those. Like, I know I will play Astrobot.
Yeah.
Right, I know I will do that. Right, it's like, whereas I know if I don't go back to Banishers, that's going to be it, and I won't finish it, and I will regret it because it was one of those games where I was like, it really struck me as this is my type of game.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and you were mentioning some things earlier, like around going around collecting, clearing a map and stuff like that. All those things we've all talked before. I'm like that pixel hunter type person. I'm a checkbox person. So it's definitely got all of that. But there's so much more to this that I really like. So the concept of it, because I forget if we've talked about it on the pod fucking 7 months ago or not. So bring people up to speed if they haven't played it. You play as a banisher, which is essentially someone that deals with ghosts. And I'm not going to spoil too much of the story because it's better if people experience it. But fundamentally, You go around helping people and communities that are haunted by ghosts. Some are like personal ghosts to them. Some are kind of bigger ghosts that are terrorizing whole communities.
There is a broader through line story.
There definitely
I
is.
understand why you're not mentioning it, because I actually think the start of this game, when I played it, was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to spoil the
from
start.
The trailers was like, huh? I think there is a. Don't worry if you're listening, going, oh, that just sounds a bit open worldy. There is like a
there's a proper story to follow,
going, but
there's a reason why I'm not spoiling it. Yeah, definitely. So and the story is actually really good from what I've played so far. But what I also like is the side content as well. I actually really enjoy it. So the way it works is that you have what are called these like haunting cases on the side, as well as the main story. And some of these haunting cases appear staggered throughout the main story thread, but a lot of them are side additional optional content. And you'll find a person who's troubled, and it turns out that they're being haunted. Sometimes you'll find the ghost, and you've got to find the person that's attributed to them second. And the idea is you'll find evidence, right, of what's going on between the living and the dead in this relationship, and you explore and find out information, and then at the end you have to make a decision, right? And I'm not going to spoil the impacts of said decision, because that kind of feeds into what we were talking about earlier. But the good thing about this is every decision you make from the side content plays into the main thread of the story, and that is all I will say at this juncture. But you basically have to make a decision where you can choose to there's normally some conflict going on between the person that's living and the person that's dead. I don't know. The person that's alive could have killed the person that's dead, or they could have loved each other, or something could have happened, right? There's normally some sort of conflict that means they're being haunted for a reason. And you find out all the information, and then you have to make a judgment. And you can choose to effectively either side with the living person or side with the ghost. And fuck me, sometimes it's like Sophie's Choice. Like it's really well done in terms of like making you like consider both sides of a story. Like in terms of like, it's never a black and white. Well, there's the cunt.
I want to. Thanks. Yep, here I am. I want to say that the reason I think we did mention it on the podcast at the time is because I remember saying something like, I think not only is it best, I think it's Dontnod's best game by distance. I'm pretty sure I recall saying something. It might have been preview. I don't remember, but I definitely didn't review it. But so somewhere I have said the words or the phrase or a version of the phrase. The choices are some of the best I've seen or played in gaming. In terms of not in terms of necessarily what you're choosing, although it is bloody hard. But I remember the first choice that was a side quest in that game. I remember stopping and being like, I can't choose either of these. Neither feels like I'm doing. And I think any game that because a lot of games try this now. A lot of games try to do. I guess like Mass Effect is one of the first, the Renegade Paragon thing I always go back to.
Yeah.
This is one of those where like the choices, and they not only make you stop and go, I don't know. They resonate later in the game, and and I'll only say this much in a way I was not expecting, and it matters what you do in this game. And
exactly that. But like I was saying, I'd be surprised if I've not encountered one so far, and I've done quite a few where I'm like, there's the cunt. It's 100% that person's fault, and it's like 100-0.
They really try to make.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Humanize everyone.
And I think as naturally as people, you will side more with that person versus that person, but it's never clear cut. Plus, you overlay the fact that it impacts future things, and I'm sorry to be vague, but I really don't want to spoil the way the game kind of works its system and narrative. But it's very good, and people should try it. But also, what I've liked as I've played more is let me just say I'm making very specific choices for a reason that I don't want to spoil, and in some ways, I'm the cunt. Let's just say. And
I've always thought that.
well, yeah, I think that's been widely said. But the game does what I've noticed is the game does a really good job of even balancing that. Like I've had conversations with in the game, humanizing the decision that I'm making, even though it feels like the wrong one sometimes. And so the game consistently plays both sides of the broader decision at you as well as the smaller ones. And I'm sorry for being very vague with what I'm saying, but it is.
No, but I think
it's because I don't want to spoil the impact.
By,
and I think
not doing that, you're sort of making a case for how good it is, because because my only real complaint with the game, personally speaking, is that as a game, mechanically, you could bounce off it quickly because the combat initially seems fairly basic.
Yes,
but I'll be honest with you, by the end of the game, I really enjoyed the combat. Like when they start adding more and more to it, I think it's clever. It's not difficult.
No,
but I don't want it to be difficult. It's not like baby steps, baby's first game either.
No, it isn't.
But it is. It's just,
and there's difficulty settings.
It's balanced.
I think.
Oh, probably, yeah. But
I think there is.
But it feels balanced. It felt balanced to me throughout.
Yeah.
I genuinely think it's a game. I wish there was like some. I mean, how would you demo it though? I was going to say I wish there was a demo, but how would you do that?
You'd have to know
the first 3 hours.
Yeah.
And your save carries on or something. I would do it if I was them, because I genuinely think it's one of those. It makes me think of Enslaved Odyssey to the West, in terms of there were people who did like that at the time, but it became much bigger after the fact. It became more of a cult classic.
Yeah.
And no one wants to be that, do they? No one wants to be the cult classic that sold fuck all, but everyone talks about now.
Everyone talks about after. We should have bought this.
The studio's closed, but thanks.
Yeah.
Like this does have a big. That's how it felt to me at the time, because it's such a good game.
It's such a good. The voice acting is superb.
Wow, yeah.
I will say that. Like the character you play as is like a gruff Scotsman, right? And it's brilliant.
See, I don't find him that gruff.
Well,
I find that's one thing I like about it. Is
maybe gruff's the wrong word, but like a proper Scottish, like I just love it when you're in combat and he's like, I can't remember the phrase he uses, but it's proper like Glasgow kiss kind of thing. It's fucking brilliant.
That stuff, yeah.
There's just stuff like that. But then, when he's talking with other people, he's very personable.
He's quite softly spoken.
Yeah, no, he is. To be fair, when he's like chatting and stuff.
Yeah, when he's not actually like fighting the dead, which is fair.
Yeah, fair enough. He's got a bit gruff when he's fighting the dead, I suppose.
Yeah, no, that's
but like the voice acting of like NPCs and stuff is very, very good, which matters because obviously all the content that we're talking about is all to do with characters you meet and their relationships. So if it was very wooden, you wouldn't give a shit about the choices you were making. So yeah, the voice acting is really good. It's nice to look at. I mean, it's not bloody, Rebirth or anything like that, but
I played most of the game on Steam Deck.
Yeah,
so I think that says a lot about the gameplay and story, that I was like not thinking, oh god, I could be on PS5 with its,
No, it's just, I'm so glad I went back to it, and I am having a ball playing through it. Who knows what it will mean that gets pushed out of the year? I don't know, but I'm having such a good time, and I'm so glad I went back. And if we find that time machine that we keep talking about, I would encourage you guys to play it. I don't think you have, but like
it sounds amazing from what
it's
really
such a different. It's one of those same but different games, because it is got a bit like Ubisoft type thing where you go and find stuff and stuff's hidden. It's a bit Metroidvania-y.
It's more God of War-y to me.
God of War, God of War.
Like Mass Effect level storytelling.
Yeah, God of War, because you've got like stuff on the map. Some of it you can't do yet, and you come back with new powers and stuff. So maybe it is probably more God of War.
Such great characters, though.
Yeah,
like you're almost not saying why, but I kind of now want to replay it. But like, I don't know about Lyle because I'm not 100% sure. I think he would like this.
I've played a bit of this. Like I was what you said before of the
Bouncing.
played a couple of hours and bounced off, and hear a bit more about it as the time goes on and think, oh, maybe
the combat evolves dramatically, and I will totally be the first to say that at the start of it, the story was what was making me go, this is kind of cool. It's very Don't Nod, very choose your own adventure. But it felt like the combat was maybe an afterthought. But as it develops, it's not. It's just a way of giving you a progression, so that it's not just the story. You are progressing ability-wise, and it really does ramp up a lot. Chris White, there's no question for me. Like, he would absolutely love this. There's not even a. I'm not
I think
sure.
I'll probably download it as soon as we get off the pod.
Like, there's no question for me. I wouldn't. I would say get it on. You've got it on Steam. Grab it on deck or something, because I played the whole game on deck, and I can only imagine it's. They've patched it even better since. But it's difficult to even as you playing it right now, Mr. Hyde. It's difficult to say drop everything and play this game, because we are literally in the midst of the melee.
Yeah, and literally, like I say, I know I've chosen this over Astrobot, which feels like a heinous crime. But it's only because I'm not saying I won't play that. It's only because I knew
Astrobot will play it, and it's not. Yeah. It's not just 10, 20 hours tops. I platinumed it in 20 hours. Like, that is. Yeah. Banishers took me 30, nearly 40, I think, and well, it was 30 something, and God, do I wish I did more of it.
Sorry, just to make the backlog worse. There you go, guys.
It is a game I would, because you were like, what should I talk? Because there's a lot of games we can't talk about, and you're like, what will we talk about on the pod this week? And I was like, well, if you're playing it, talk about it, man, because that game warrants a celebratory discussion. Because I don't now think back. It's not one of those where 6 months later you're like, it's been pushed right out now. There's a lot of games come out, and there have been a lot of games come out that have kicked it down. It's one that's remained in my list because I'm like, I can't not. I love when a game tells a good story. I love when a game makes you care about its characters. I love when a game, there's nothing worse than phoned in voice acting or voice act. I would be stunned if the person who plays Red McGrath, the fact I could remember his name. I can't remember my own birthday, and yet that I played in February, and I can remember Red McGrath. Which tells you, I think, a bit about, if you listen to this podcast a lot, not in the
it's a good name as well.
It's a great
Red
name.
Is a solid name for a person.
Great video game.
Let's play that jingle.
Yep.
Chris Hyde, listen to Correspondence. It's time. It's time. Chris Hyde. Okay, so the first question this week is from Anonymous, and it says, Lara, what's that on your forehead?
Oh, that's weird that we had an anonymous question that knew what I had on my forehead when I've only been in this video chat or downstairs in my own house. So I either have a stalker or, well, I mean, that's quite likely, to be fair. I mean, who wouldn't want to stalk me? On my head is a love heart drawn in biro that my husband decided to draw on me for no particular reason. I wasn't asleep or anything. I was just sat there, and I just sort of let it happen. Maybe it'll happen again. Maybe more drawings will appear on my forehead in future podcasts. Something for the video viewers,
And that's why you should tune in every week.
I was just going to say, I'd like to thank your husband for giving the extra special reason. We should have done this podcast video. The video version is only on patreon.com/GodIsAGeek. And if you want to see that heart, no, it's not. Oh well. It's a nice heart.
It is. It's very well drawn.
Yeah. Apparently, it was a nightmare because my head's quite shiny and sort of annoying to draw on. Apparently, I got a lot of complaints about the usefulness of my head as a drawing.
Your forehead isn't matte enough for biro. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That could have been Sharpie. I mean,
yeah.
We'll see next week.
Let's get into these questions proper then. So Mick sent in a few questions for us. So firstly, do you think Zelda Echoes is worth 60 quid if it is as short as Link's Awakening? Yes.
Well, yeah. Link's Awakening is, from the top of my head, around 14 hours, correct?
I think if you went on How Long to Beat and just quickly, and that's just mainline story. That's not extra.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
in their terms. So 14 hours isn't short. I mean, have this conversation. It will come up later for future questions. 60 quid is worth as much to you as what it's worth to you. And if you think a 15-hour game like that is worth it, I think this is probably going to. I don't know anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it looks like this game could be longer, given the complexities of what I've seen in two YouTube videos that Nintendo have released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be my guess too.
That would be my guess, knowing
Blink.
nothing, having not played it or done anything with it. That would be my guess. If I was to bet if it was shorter or longer than Link's Awakening, I'd say it was longer. But even then, it's new Zelda, man. It's going to be good. Like
Adam blinked twice, which means yes.
Oh shit! Broken an embargo right there.
I was struggling to. I was trying not to blink, breathe. I was literally trying to be like,
I'm not. I don't want to get Adam in trouble. That's why I'm saying this is what I think. I reckon it's gonna be longer. I reckon it's gonna be banging. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
And I can't believe you guys last week didn't say you were excited to play it. You miserable cunts. Well, I don't know if anyone else thinks. I've kind of taken over that question there.
I'm quite looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be good. Probably.
Whether I do or not is a different question.
Too busy playing Banishers now, that's it.
Yeah.
Banishers, Rebirth.
Oh God, Rebirth. Right, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation here, but will Lyle be covering?
Oh, right.
No, yeah. will Lil be covering?
Lile.
Is it Rhinatis or Rhinatis?
I would have said Rhinatis.
I'd have said Rhinoceros.
Yeah, but that's just in general day-to-day talk, isn't it? Just randomly, rhinoceros.
Just talk to people.
I've only ever seen it written down, so I don't know. Rhinatis? I mean, the answer's no.
Right,
Mick Fraser will be covering that.
Yeah, that is the answer. The
That's
answer
the answer.
is no.
Someone else said they wanted to cover
Irrespective
it.
of pronunciation, the answer is no. When are we all playing Space Marine 2 online?
I mean, soon, hopefully, because that game's great fun. Could have talked about that. Never thought about that, but could have. A bit late now. Good
Didn't
game.
have to drag that game up from February. We could have just talked about a game that released. Anyway.
Yeah, no, soon, hopefully, this is a really, really good video game. Looks great as well, like really great in spots.
It does look good.
And it's
From what I've seen on videos, because I've not played it yet. I need to play
it. It's so violent, it's unreal, but you're only, you're slaughtering.
It's kind of what you want from a Space Marine game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I genuinely don't know anything about Warhammer at all in any way, shape, or form, other than you paint them.
I know that I played the first Space Marine game and it was very violent and very fun. So.
Well, that's this, but more. And that's the box quote. No, it's really fun.
If Space Marine games were PG, you'd be like, what the fuck is this?
I will say, maybe we will talk about it in future weeks, but like what I will say is I love it when a game gives you a parry and it's super generous with the parry window.
Yeah,
I love that because you get to feel like a badass,
absolute badass. Yeah,
even
I
though
love it.
You know, if you were playing Street Fighter or Sekiro, you would have just got your ass handed
kicked
to you.
Yeah,
so wrong. Like,
and
this
then
has
and
got
then
a
you
real
go.
Generous window.
You blame the game. That's what I do. I'm like, I fucking pressed it.
Yeah, but this has got like the parry stuff's cool because it's like a big glowing blue. It's sort of a circle, but it's a shape. It's not a circle. That's a weird thing to say. But it flashes for a long time, so you get ages to press it. But as long as you press it while that's up, it doesn't matter if it's like the enemy's miles away. They're jumping at me. It's from miles away. You will not only do the parry, but you've also got like R1 as your like melee, and you get a chainsaw sword. You don't have to use that. And so you can also you can do that way to parry them. If they're a bigger enemy, they don't die. You can then, instead of hitting R1, hold R1 and you do like an extra strong attack. And then if you hit shoot button, the camera spins a bit and it goes down the barrel kind of as if you're like that. So you do this really strong melee attack and then go bang and headshot them, and it's like a kill move. And it's just so... I never thought I'd say this, but about a Warhammer thing, it's cool.
No, I mean
it's cool.
Henry Cavill likes it, so it's cool, mate.
Warhammer is cool.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah, I'm still. I feel like at some point I will need closure, like the beak conversation of what this shape, not a circle, is. To be
well,
clear.
it's a bit like the Gears of War cog. You know, it's got a circle, but it's like also got triangles round it, if I recall.
Right.
So it's not like a known shape, but it's not just a circle. It's really
it's like a speech bubble, but if
look a speech bubble from 1995 Word.
It's kind of like a circular version of the objection in Phoenix Wright. You know,
like the kind of thing that would have "pow" from Batman in it or something.
You can't miss it. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Space Marine 2 is great. It's really great. I hope that game does well because it's really great.
Cool. Did you try Persona 3 Reload DLC yet?
I
No.
did.
you
I
did.
did, yes. And there'll be a review coming. But it's past the embargo, so I am allowed to say it's like it's fun. It's more Persona, but it's more Persona without any of the social elements. So it's like a big dungeon crawly expansion. And while that might be fun in some ways because it's not all the bells and whistles of a Persona game you might expect, it might disappoint some people, but it is more of a combat that is really, really good. So it's also kind of hard to complain about. You just sort of need to know what you're getting into. But there'll be more words on that soon when I've spent like 30 hours playing it.
More words.
Which I haven't yet.
I'm not going to. I finally finished that game, Persona 3. I can't.
Yeah, I don't think it's something... I mean... There are like story elements that I think are interesting and a nice addition to the game based on, the very end of Persona 3. But at the same
there's
time...
nothing I feel like I need.
No, for
there's
sure.
nothing I'm desperate... Like, the end of the P3 is the end.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. I don't...
So fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, unless Lyle slaps a 10 on it, then I'm going to have to. But, like, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't think that's going to happen by the sounds of it, so...
No, probably not. But it's, if you really want more Persona, there is more Persona out there now. It's the box quote.
Box quote. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be worse. You could have said, if you really want more Persona, Metaphor ReFantasio is out soon, so that's by the same
Just
developer.
wait for that. This is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I want to play that game. Anyway.
His next question. Thoughts on the recent Diablo 4 updates? I have not been close to this, so I can't comment. I don't know.
No.
And I have not, definitely haven't played it. So, the update.
I don't think we can answer that, can we?
No, I don't know anything to
Sorry.
comment on this. So I have no thoughts on the recent Diablo 4 updates.
Yeah,
Literally
same.
not.
I agree. No thoughts.
I agree and disagree with your no thoughts.
Yeah.
When are we playing Monster Hunter World? PC or PS5?
I'm not.
Not
It's
not
like
happening.
old.
Not happening. I've played Wilds now, so I can't go back to that. I could, that's not true.
Why would we be playing it? Is it like an
It's
update
a
or
good
something?
game. No. It's
just
not
'cause-
even the most recent Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I think he's annoyed that we've been playing Rise because World is generally a better game, but Rise is easier to just jump on and do a couple of hunts. I'm not playing 2 Monster Hunter games at the same time. Sorry, no.
Yeah. You need like 3 time machines for that.
Yeah.
One for each game.
Yep. I'm assuming this one's quite easy. Tiramisu or cheesecake?
Well,
I'm worried about the silence here.
Cheesecake?
Cheesecake.
I'm just going to say tiramisu is amazing.
Yeah, to be clear, it's
I'm not turning
dog
any
shit
away.
versus, amazing. Tiramisu's great, but I'm sorry, cheesecake is cheesecake.
Lidl have started doing tiramisu muffins.
Okay.
And I had one yesterday, and it's incredible.
Is
Wait
it?
a minute.
They're really nice, yeah.
Could you not make a tiramisu cheesecake?
Yeah.
I mean, surely quite easily.
You just get the tiramisu and put it on top of a biscuit base, right?
Yeah.
And that is essentially tiramisu cheesecake.
Yeah.
So both can be our answer if we want.
Yeah.
It's cheesecake.
Yeah, I
still,
mean,
'cause
it's one
like the
of those
variety.
where if I'm choosing, I'll choose cheesecake. But if someone goes, "Oh, we've got tiramisu," I'm like, "Yeah, that's great, that's fine."
Absolutely.
But cheesecake is just cheesecake. It's so good.
yeah.
Two,
Cheesecake.
was easy.
both are highly
Well,
acceptable desserts.
You say it was easy. Chris White hasn't actually nailed his colours to the mast, has he?
Oh, cheesecake.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
There we go.
100%.
Fair enough then.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah. It should be equally as easy. Mick Fraser or Lyle?
Oh, Lyle, right? Yeah, that's my vote. Myself.
Why are we having to choose?
I don't know. What's happening to the other one?
Well, isn't the easiest thing to just say Lyle because he's here with us now and there can be no...
It's the coward's answer, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and...
If you're prepared to lie to people's faces just to save your own face, then yeah, Lyle.
Okay, Lyle.
Amazing.
I love them both, and I'm not answering. I'm refraining.
I could have said that, couldn't I?
Fine. 3 against 1. I'll take it.
No, I could have said that too, couldn't I? I could have said yeah.
We
Why
have to
didn't I
lock
just
in the
say-
first
yeah.
answer.
No, it's it is. It's like one of them game shows where it's like, I'm sorry, I've got to take your first answer.
It is.
I mean, I suitably caveated my answer, so it's fine.
Wait till I
You did.
tell him.
Mick knows. Mick knows.
Oh God, of course he knows.
Yeah, good.
Hypothetically.
McPoo asks £700 for the PS5 Pro. Is it too damn high?
Yes, it should be free because then I'd have one and that'd be nice, right? Yeah.
I'm tired. Like before
Right.
we even
It's
start
relevant
talking
to
about
this.
this, I'm tired.
Yeah, the thing is, right? It's one of those things. Like I said before, like if people think it's good value, it is good value. If they think it's too expensive, it's too expensive. But I was saying to you before, Adam, like I think that the main person this is aimed at is someone that's already got a PS5. I don't think people were waiting for a Pro that haven't got a PS5, and it's a lot of money for a console, and it's a lot of money for a console that I don't think there's that much difference between that and a PS5. Personally, that's my opinion, hot take. And I also think the whole no disk drive, no stand thing just kind of throws salt in the wound of a high price point already. So that's my view.
Sort
so
of
I'm
tells
not...
me that they're struggling to make it 700 quid even without.
Well,
that.
this is
Makes
the
me
thing.
wonder.
I mean, the console. I mean, PS5 is a loss leader, right? As well, presumably. I don't know how much. Most consoles are.
They can't have just had a meeting and gone. It'd be really funny if we said,
Yeah.
We make 200 quid a pop on them.
Exactly.
No way. There's no way they didn't expect a backlash. Sorry, an internet bubble backlash.
Yeah, it's difficult to know with the internet whether it's a bubble or not. But I do. I mean, I'll be honest.
It is very expensive. Like, let's not fuck around. Like, whatever you want, whatever angle you take, it is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
But I was talking, funnily enough, to Steve about this, and he was like, "Who's it aimed for?" And I was like, "Us."
Yep.
And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "We bought Portals. Like, the PlayStation Portal is a £200 device that lets you sit and play your console on a admittedly very nice screen with all the DualSense stuff, so you're not losing any of that." Yep. It is a luxury item. The two biggest selling peripherals for PlayStation 5, I believe, are the Portal, which I think has massively... I reckon that's sold so much they're actually considering something portable properly because they didn't think it would. And the Edge, which is a controller I reviewed, and if I remember saying, I opened with something like, I can't tell you if it's worth it to you. What I can tell you is this is probably the best controller I've ever used. Whether you think it's worth that, I don't think... I couldn't go and buy... I've got the PlayStation 5 controller is great. I couldn't go and buy an Edge. I just couldn't. There's too much I need to do around my house before that. If I had fuck you money, but that's what this is, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is designed for... This is designed for the person who gets the new iPhone every year.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly
right?
it.
I've got an iPhone, I think at 12, I think it is, and I've had that. I think it might even be older than that. And we're what now? The 16's just been announced.
Yeah.
There's nothing on that I've felt that I'm missing because I can cope with that. But there are lots of people who will, and I think even Apple have felt that because I looked at the pricing of some of the recent stuff, and there's like where they were like $1,000 starting, now they're like $799.
I think that's the other thing with this. I will say that I think that's the other thing with the whole cost of living crisis. I do think that is also the framing of this makes this worse than if we were in that kind of period where Apple was just getting more expensive. You just go, as things getting more expensive. I think that is the other thing with this. It feels a little bit out of touch.
It does feel slightly tone deaf with other things happening in the world. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's the other point here. I think the other thing that's quite funny is if Nintendo come out and announce the Switch 2 is 400 quid, I think they've got a slam dunk. I don't know if they will. I'm just saying it'd be funny. Like
it would be funny.
I think it'd be hilarious if they went. Do you know what would be brilliant? Right, here's Nintendo's free marketing. If they announce Switch 2, say it's 700 quid, and it's a joke, and then they put a line through it and
the
say
7
it's 400.
sort of gets erased by Mario with a rubber.
Mario, and just fucking hell, there's your marketing. Like you'd fucking
or he has a zero on the end actually, or he puts a decimal point, so it's 70 quid.
I can't wait for the Switch 2 now.
Yeah,
but like I guess it's a cop out, but like, don't buy it. Like I'm not sitting here outraged and angry. Like I think it's a lot of money, but I'll be honest with you. And shit, if we get to cover one and I review it and it's like, wow, fucking hell, I'll honestly say that. I can tell you now, I'll still say the thing of, it's a lot of money. But there's not a game I've played on PlayStation yet where I've been like, fucking hell, this is dreadful looking and dreadful, runs like shit. Like,
This console needs upgrading.
But again, this is for the person who has the 80-inch TV, the latest Apple iPhone every year. When a new refresh of any of their hardware comes out, they get the new. That's who this is for. And don't be surprised when it sells out, because I wouldn't think they would make quite as many as they have, because they will know that not everyone is going to go and buy this. But again, caveat: I can't judge it based on the stream because YouTube compression. I can't judge it at all. I need to see it myself.
To judge it on that. Yeah,
it will be cool if it does do what they say it does. It will be a cool machine to own. But like, was it Xbox that have been quoted? Someone's been quoted like since it announced, basically saying it's basically a £300 upgrade, because what you do is you trade in your old one.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it slightly more palatable, but not much. It's
but again,
just a lot of money. It's a big figure.
It's still the same is true of when you upgrade to the next generation, I suppose. It's
that might be them. This might be them testing that a bit as well.
Yeah, and I think
what I would also say is everything is expensive. Because like we used to go to Reading Festival. My wife and I think, we were husband and wife at the time. A long time ago. We're talking like in the 90s, and I thought it'd be really cool to, go to Reading again just one year. And I looked at the pricing and I was like, that's not too bad, £160. Oh, that's for a day.
That's a
day.
Yeah.
That's for a day each, so that's 300 plus per day. And I looked at it for the weekend, and I'm like, oh, cool. That's never going to happen ever again, ever then. So it's not. I'm not making an excuse at all, because that is a big number. But everything's like that now. Like
and this is where it comes back to, like, do you want a PS5 Pro, or do you want a weekend for 2 at Reading Festival or whatever? And it's like what you put value on in it.
Well, honestly, the third option, can I just have the 700 in my pocket?
Yeah, or do you want to? Yeah, exactly. But like
I can't imagine any of those 3 options in my life.
Yeah, no, but this is the point, and this is why it's a bit of an unfair question. But like, I do think it's difficult to know how much people were. It's faux outrage or whatever. I just think people were shocked because
whatever they said, it was going to be shocked.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's the highest a console has ever been. I will say
it's 100 more than I thought they were going to say.
Yeah.
I thought 599 would be
like
it, but 699. Well, that's exactly it.
People just need to just chill out.
Yeah.
You've got a PS5. It's perfect. It runs perfectly well.
And I think
don't get angry about it.
I think the anger comes from the fact they want it. And
I think this is the thing. I think people were tuning in excited for it. This is the thing. I think people were. I think there are some people that just being outraged for being outraged sake, but I think there's other people who are like, I'm genuinely interested in this.
But
I genuinely like my PS5, but I would like if I can get me a better one for a decent price, I'll pay that.
I will say,
I think people are expecting 500 or 6.
It's just
max.
a lot of money to ask for any. It's just a fucking lot of money.
Certainly not for the players, is it? It's for the players in brackets who are on a better wage.
Yeah,
it's not for everybody.
I thought because you were wearing a baseball cap there, I thought you were going a different route with that. But it's fine.
No. I know what you meant, mate.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Right, now it's the key question.
This is the important question.
This is the one.
Okay.
Who'd win in a fight between Lyle and 3 Wild Hogs? Now, just to remind everybody, last week we had a question of who would win between Lyle and 10-10-year-olds.
We did.
And I was unanimously defeated in my view that the 10 children would win. So now I'd like to see what people think about Lyle and 3 Wild Hogs.
Oh, sorry, Lyle's getting savaged.
I don't understand.
Get to higher ground and just start throwing pegging shit at them until they.
Yeah, if you're on a flat field, you are
I'm dead.
fucked.
I'm absolutely dead. There's no chance.
If they're wild hogs as well,
yeah.
That's
Tusks
the thing.
And...
Yeah.
And the big fuckers.
He's getting gored. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I am. Brutal about this. Sorry, Lyle.
I will. Oh no,
absolute
I'll die.
lacerations.
I'll die.
Yeah. And as we've established, all of these fights are to the death. Clearly,
they are all to the death. Yeah, this
Can't
is the
back.
rule.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few variables that could fix it though. Yeah, higher ground so that I'm just safe. And
Does
just
Lyle have a gun?
Yeah, do I have a gun? Could I have a gun?
Or a bladed or serrated edged weapon?
I might, because I'm all right with a gun. I've used a gun once.
I feel like that's changing. Always, it's like going. has Lyle got an army of 10 wild hogs fighting for him? Like that.
But I see Lyle generally carrying a scythe into battle. I don't know why a scythe. I just see it.
It's rim.
Do you know, like Eddie in Bottom, when he sort of comes in on the stilts and that, and he's like, it looks like he's pissed. That's obviously Lyle wielding a scythe.
I see Lyle like trying to swipe away at them with his hat, but it not being very effective.
Go on.
Leave me alone.
Kind of calling him stupid if you think he's literally. I mean, I'd run, wouldn't you? Well, could you outrun a pig? A hog?
No.
No, I need the higher ground.
He needs high ground. Like I say, if he's in a flat like field or whatever, he's fucked.
Could you? Now listen, this is
fetal position and just pray for a quick death.
This has probably never been tested. It's a bit like that. If an elevator fell, if you just jumped before the end thing, like you know the thing.
Yeah.
Could you sweep the legs of the hogs to get away and run? Could you do like a ground sweep and hack them up and leg it? And then they're like on the back.
Yes,
fat and
yes,
round.
you could. I think you're underestimating how long they would be incapacitated for before they caught up.
Could you throw them in an elevator and jump before, because they wouldn't have the mental capacity to jump at the last second.
Yeah, so I think if you're in a falling elevator with 3 wild hogs.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a very
small elevator. He could put his hands on one wall and like do that climby up thingy with his legs.
I'm very strong.
Yeah,
in this
like
scenario.
what is it? Splinter Cell.
Probably.
Yeah.
And he ends up basically right at the top of the elevator, like as if he's stealthily hiding, and then at the last minute he just jumps and then the elevator.
Well, there's probably like in the films, there's always that ceiling panel that exists in films.
Oh, that's true.
That doesn't exist in all the other.
Remember, in my scenario, the elevator's falling, so I don't think him going up there is helping anyone. Let's be honest. He's not going to get killed by the pigs as instantly because he's gone out, but they can't fly. Maybe they can pigs fly?
Pigs can't fly. Now we've established that.
But can hogs?
I would say if the lift is falling and he's in an enclosed space with 3 wild hogs, he's dead before it hits the ground anyway.
You say falling? Do you just mean like going down?
No, I mean like the lift. Like it's...
So how? Well, how are you going to get an elevator to fall?
You say, it's
falling. Cut the cord.
Mate, the effort you're saying here just to kill 3 warthogs in a fucking lift is crazy.
Yeah.
You might as well just risk his chances in a field.
Yeah, I know. We haven't even discussed how the wild hogs that want to kill Lyle can politely get in this lift before it starts falling.
Yes.
But
all right. Okay. I've got a second scenario. We give Lyle a gun, but there's only 2 bullets.
Fucking kill yourself, mate. Give yourself 2 chances to kill yourself.
What? I could try. If it's a really good gun, I could try and get 2 with one.
I was going to say, you need to Deadpool it. You need to, Deadpool it and try and kill 2 with 1 bullet. That's what you need.
So what you want is
spoilers.
The hogs to
spoilers
line
for the
up.
first 5 minutes of the original Deadpool.
You want the hogs to line up nicely in a row. The wild hogs to line up as some sort. They sort of glue together like a
but we know
onrushing bulwark.
He's a good video game player though. He might get the right timing of the.
Or you could run over like a bridge in Dragon's Dogma and shoot the ropes that are holding it together, so they just fall into a river.
Yeah.
And then they'd
they wouldn't be tall enough like the Cyclops to become the bridge. Yeah.
Well, they got in an elevator and it came up the side of the cliff, and then they got on and they're like again at you.
I bet an elevator in this scenario.
All these variables.
Fact is, you're getting absolutely annihilated.
Yeah, he's getting gold, as I said.
Yeah, I'm dying. I don't back myself in this. So this isn't like the 10-year-old.
Yeah, so I feel like for next week we need something less deadly than 3 wild hogs,
Chris,
but more deadly than 10-year-olds.
I'll say it. Like, who's let himself down with this question? I'll say it.
Well, I mean, depends on your perspective, because think of all the conversation that he generated.
I think it's a very good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's let himself down. Maybe
next week Lyle can have like some backup in the form of a mythical something else.
Zeus. Well, in an elevator.
Zeus. Who would win? Zeus in an elevator.
He's got Poseidon in an elevator that's only 3/4 full of water, up to the nipples.
Okay. Is that 3/4?
Well, it's a small elevator.
I'll measure the next elevator I'm in where 3/4 comes on my nipple ratio. Yeah.
That would be a hell of a. People just look at this man. Just checking my nipple height. Sorry.
Just checking.
Yeah. What will Lyle face next? That's the question.
Yeah, that is the ultimate question. And if there's ever been a reason to check into our podcast every week, it's the answer to that question. Mm-hmm. Right, last question from McPoo. What genre of game doesn't get enough love?
Point and click.
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
Chris.
that's good.
Many point-and-click games over the years have been incredible.
Yeah,
And it's a genre that doesn't get enough love. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I completely agree.
I have one.
Yeah.
It's a sort of maybe a subgenre. Non-simulation based sports games. All you get now is a sports game that is like it's EAFC, it's NHL, it's NBA 2K. They're all like ultra real sports games.
Oh, so you mean like
Wii
NBA
Sports.
Jam?
NBA Jam, Wii Sports, NBA
Mario
Jam,
Strikers.
FIFA Street,
Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
that kind of thing. The one where you can just enjoy it as like a casual fan of just games.
Yeah.
That you don't need to learn a new language to play a sports game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that was. There used to be a lot more of them. You know, like, Nintendo did loads of them and have done them all. They're kind of the only one doing them. Mario Strikers and Mario Golf and
Tennis.
Mario.
Tennis, Mario.
Everything Mario, basically.
Yeah.
Synchronized swimming and all that, and but that, I don't think there's enough of them. You know, we used to what was not NBA Jam, was it NBA Street? No, Ballers.
Yeah,
Was it Ballers?
it was NBA Street as well.
Yeah, they were great fun, and you didn't need to be an ultra hardcore basketball fan to understand how that all worked. It was just real good fun.
Yeah.
You know, I think back to what was it, NFL Blitz, where it was like
Yeah,
an arcade.
yeah.
You know, and even NHL games used to be really arcadey and stuff like that. Football games. What was the game where you could literally do the Cantonade kick in it? You know, we used to get more arcade stuff like that, and that's it's all just sort of sim heavy. Well, I like that because I like football, and I like that because I like NHL, and Madden's my thing because I like American football. I miss the sort of I missed that a little bit. We used to get a lot more of that, and it wasn't always good, but there was some shit,
but it was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that for me. Been storing that all episode.
Yeah.
You're so ready for it.
That's a golf noise for a baseball.
I can't think of the name of it, so apologies. But obviously the sad news around me games and the kind of the closing of that that kind of it's not real time strategy, but it's kind of adjacent to that, isn't it? But it's like that type of game. I love that where there's because you kind of sparked it in me earlier, Chris, when you were talking about Outlaws, just different ways to do things and kind of different ways to approach certain kind of situations. I just love that about their games, and I'm gutted we're not going to get sort of them making another one. So
I thought you might have said puzzle games, but I suppose point and click adjacent.
Yeah, the thing about point and click, what I used to love about proper old school LucasArts point and click, it was
it's a silliness.
It was the daftness along with the kind of problem solving stuff. It's just that combination that I just love. It's fucking brilliant. There's just something about that 90s humor I think you probably wouldn't get away with today, but I just love it. It's harmless, it's just funny, and it's daft. And some games take themselves far too seriously these days, and more games should be daft, which I think is what you're probably saying a bit with your kind of sports stuff as well. Just doesn't all have to be fucking serious. Games are supposed to be fun. Don't remember that. Just be daft and silly. It's great. Just go for it. Grapple Dogs.
Grapple Dogs it. My pick's kart racers, by the way. I just think I think there's not a lot of really good. There was a time where there was a lot of kart racers, and most of them were pretty fucking good. And now there's you play Mario Kart, or there's occasionally one that's not quite on its level, and that's about it. You know?
Yeah. You're almost is this one going to be not super shit?
Yeah.
Whereas you say before, it was actually most of them were half decent, and it was they had new ideas and stuff.
Like a Diddy Kong Racing or a Mickey Speedway USA.
Yeah. Yeah, they all used to
Crash. Was it Nitro? What was that? That Nitro Fueled, was that it?
Yeah,
Crash.
that was good.
That was good.
The Sonic ones were alright, weren't they?
Sonic and Sega All Stars Transformed was excellent.
Yeah.
That new Transformers racer game looks quite good. Galactic Trials.
What about before we leave the question, immersive FPS games? So, and by that, I think that's what people call them. I mean, the BioShock style games. Because do you remember when they were really popular? Do you remember games like Singularity, Condemned, all those sort of games that were story first, I guess, but they still played really well. I feel like everyone tried to do the BioShock thing. A Singularity is the one that really sticks in my memory. I don't feel what was the one last year? Mick reviewed it. it came to Game Pass. It was an Xbox. They pushed it a lot.
A Sonic Heart.
Yes, like
Oh,
that
that's
was
it,
that
yeah.
sort of game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That sort of game. I suppose. Well, I don't know, but yeah, there's lots of genres that don't get that much love because, you know, I mean, you could have said 3D platformers, but I mean, we are getting a bit of a renaissance of that.
Yeah, it's hard because, especially if you're leaning into like the indie space, you're usually getting a decent amount of quite a lot of these, really.
We don't have enough Metroidvanias.
I was just about to say
and
there's one we
Souls-likes.
can't.
Roguelites.
I wish there was more deck builders out there.
Yeah.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Oh, funny. Right, okay. Finally, Dead Pink Punk says, why does Mark Cerny look like he co-hosts Wayne's World?
I don't. What, Wayne or Garth? I don't get it.
I guess it's the hair.
Yeah.
I guess. Is that
It's a
what
bit
it means?
mullety.
Yeah, it's a little bit unkempt mullet, isn't it? A little bit.
I guess the answer to this is like one part genetics, one part style choices. Is
Yeah.
that the serious
Look,
answer
I mean,
this
to be
question?
honest, that's you can't. It's got to be the answer. That's the official answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Kudos
Half
to
of it you can't help it. Half of it is you fucking can.
I like the idea that it's a persona and that the camera cuts and he's like, "What? He's a fucking hell!" Like really, like it's totally an affectation or something. I don't know, but yeah,
Kudos to the Wayne's World reference as well. I love Wayne's World.
yeah. God, that's been
Excellent film.
Yeah.
Stairway, no stairway.
No stairway. Rib for her pleasure. Eve.
That's the quote you remembered.
I remember a lot of quotes.
Yeah, but that's the one you made.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, she will be
Car.
mine. I mean, but he goes straight to.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
I think this is what?
Sorry,
Yeah.
you bought a gun rack. I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate a gun rack. What am I going to do with a gun rack? Get the net. I love it.
Yeah,
Mate,
no, I think that's coming
the
through.
impression is great too, though. That's what's so good about it.
Fuck.
Excellent film. Anyway,
Wowza.
Right, final question, and it's totally serious. Bonus points if you can talk about his PSSR with a straight face. I presume that's Mark's PSSR, his personal PSSR.
I saw a reference to this
Piss off.
before the announcement, and I thought it was a piss take. I mean, now I saw it, I get it. It's super sampling. It's everyone's got their own version of it. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's
Pisser, though, isn't it?
I always find it. Like you said it. Games are fun. You know, they can be serious as well. Like like Banishers has got a really, really interesting story. Grapple Dogs is some dogs with grappling hooks. I find it really hard to not to care because it's like the job, isn't it, to care about what's going on in the gaming world. But like all these slogans and I just want to play games.
Yeah. I mean, although it is the job, I do not care. Like,
Yeah.
I will say that.
Does it look
Yeah.
good? Does it play good? Does it?
Can I play Grapple Dogs on it or not?
Can I grapple a canine across a cosmic area and then shoot boxes with my dog's gun? Does it make
Say
it
hello
any
for
better?
Turkey. Captain Gobble.
I don't know.
I think we should just,
Yeah.
sadly play that jingle. Chris Hyde. Listen to Correspondence. It's time. It's time. Chris Hyde.
And there we have it. That is episode 553, all done bar the shouting. If you enjoyed this podcast, two in 2 weeks. Christ.
Ooh.
Whatever next.
That's not just swords. Not gonna.
you're like a shit version of that guy from Police Academy.
Yeah.
Fucking-
That is a great thing to do, by the way, when you're with someone and they eat and you go, oh, it still works. It still works when someone takes a mouthful and you go,
Oh, I'm doing that.
yeah,
I'm doing
that's
that
great
later
fun.
now.
It's so entertaining for you, and it really is worth. It's a great game. If you did enjoy the podcast, youtube.com/GodIsAGeek, you can find the podcast video version and other videos, reviews, previews, stuff like that, guides, tips, blah, blah, blah. You can go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek, where you can support us there for as little or as much as you wish. And we will hopefully soon be starting back up the exclusive Patreon podcast that we started before we had a break. So we will talk about some smaller games and have a fun time chat doing so. The SGFC podcast. Had to really think hard there. You can find us on all the social media.
Social mediums.
Social
you can find us
mediums.
there.
Missed that.
But of course, for all your gaming needs, go to godisageek.com, where you find the latest in gaming news, reviews, previews, interviews, tips, cheats, guides, anything else from the 80s.
Cheats.
I love our cheat
Go back
page.
to 1995. Game Shark out.
Game Shark codes.
What did they
Games
what it
really
was?
codes.
What
Action
they used to call them?
replay.
What was it they used to call them? Was it not hacks? Oh, it doesn't matter. Who cares? All in the past. Thank you to Chris Hyde, to Chris White, to Lyle Pendle. Thank you for being here on this episode of the podcast.
It's been great.
To
It's been
everybody else,
amazing.
we will speak to you next episode or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.